Should you play Blade and Soul in 2023? Well, let's talk about it. But first, let me try and give you a somewhat brief explanation on what Blade and Soul is, for those that don't already know. Blade and Soul is a martial arts themed MMORPG that was published by NCSoft in Korea in 2012, but it was not released in the Western market till 2016. Blade and Soul features a combination of different martial arts, which are based on the style Wuxia and Qinggong, in a not so open world environment. Think of Kung Fu Hustle or Shaolin Soccer, but without the ball. If you haven't seen those movies, I highly recommend them. Wuxia, for those that don't know, is a Chinese genre of a super fantasized martial arts world. Now, Qinggong is a training technique for jumping off vertical surfaces. It's basically Chinese parkour.
Qinggong.
Of course, the Qinggong in Blade and Soul is more embellished and is more in line with the Wuxia world. This is IRL Qinggong. By the way, this music is the original music that's on the video. I did not add it, so don't cancel me. Now, this is what it looks like in Blade and Soul. As you can see, it's exactly like real life. Alright, let's move on from this information dump that no one asked for, and talk about the races and classes.
Damn, look at them titties!
Blade and Soul has 4 different races and 16 different classes. The races being the Jin, Gon, Lin, and Yun. Or Jun, I don't fucking know. The Jin look like normal humans, while the Gon also look like normal humans, but they lift weight, so they're thick, with 3 C's.
Girl, you're thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
The Lin are just big humanoid rats that look like they go to preschool. The Yun are just normal looking humans as well. The only thing special about them is that they're an only female race. Now, I could have sworn these classes had more animation than this.
Blade Masters are balanced fighters.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
The classes for Blade and Soul are the Musician, Warlock, Assassin, Blade Dancer, Warden, Summoner, Astromancer, Dual Blade, Destroyer, Blade Master, Soul Fighter, Kung Fu Master, Zen Archer, Gunslinger, and Force Master. And of course, this game being an Asian MMO, some of these classes are locked behind the races and gender. For example, the Musician is a female-only class, the Destroyer is only for the Gon race, and the Astromancer is only for the Lin race. The combat in this game is action combat, meaning you dodge, hit, combo dodge, and hit. It's fairly simple.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
When I first played it, it reminded me a lot of an arcade fighting game, like Street Fighter. If you have played Lost Ark, it's similar to that. It's a fast-paced, combo-focused combat.
Boobs.
Are you fucking retarded?
Of course, I started my journey in the game by doing the one thing that most people like doing in Blade and Soul at the time. And that was by making the best character I could possibly make. I went with Gon as the race and Warden as the class, which used a greatsword as the weapon. When I played this back in 2016, I played the Destroyer. Back then, 75% of these classes didn't even exist, the Warden being one of them. Of course, I picked the female because I would rather stare at a female's ass than a male's as I play. But it's totally fine if you're into that sort of stuff. I then made the most ideal female figure that I could think of, and I followed it up with a fitting name. So the game starts off with you being found in the water by some old dude on a boat. He probably thought he hit the jackpot when he picked me up.
Yeah, boy.
Then you end up playing through the events that led you to end up being in the water in the first place. In the beginning of the story, you're a new member of a martial arts sect. What's the sect called, you ask? I have no fucking idea. So they basically have you running around while they teach you how to do different skills. It's basically the tutorial of the game. These skills they teach you are the look like you're running fast, but you're actually not skill, and the glide slower than walking skill. But I mean, I guess it looks cool. Who am I kidding? The real thing looks cooler than this. But I will say that they do a good job at the start to make you feel like you're running and gliding fast. But as you keep playing, you realize that all that wind sound and effects are all just smoke and mirrors. And you're actually slow as shit still. The running actually reminds me of the scene in Kung Fu Hustle when the landlady first starts chasing Sing, because they make it look like they're running really fast, but they're actually barely moving. Anyways, after running around for a bit and completing quests, the sect is attacked and you end up getting yeeted off the floating island and into the ocean. Now, I don't want to say too much about the story just in case you decide to play it, because the story, in my opinion, is one of the reasons to play the game. So I'm gonna be a bit vague with it. You then wake up after having a bad dream about the events that occurred, and by bad events, I mean them not remembering your fucking name and just calling you Cricket the whole damn time.
Cricket, you're still in bed? Cricket, are you still asleep? Cricket, hello?
Cricket? I almost had you yesterday.
You overslept, Cricket.
Your day will come, Cricket.
Cricket, come with me, please. Come closer, Cricket.
Did I scare you, Cricket?
Cricket.
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 Cricket. Cricket.
Cricket.
Cricket.
Cricket.
Cricket.
Cricket.
Cricket.
Cricket.
Cricket.
Cricket.
Cricket.
Cricket.
Cricket.
Cricket.
Are you alright? Goodness, I can't imagine what you've gone through.
After all that, the real leveling begins. Well, that is to discover the gamble wheel and spend hours trying to get a weapon that literally cannot drop, because for some reason they stopped adding them for the new classes they released. Now, the gamble wheel was one of the main sources of content for Blade and Soul while leveling. Almost every zone will have at least one of them. Some even have 2 to 3 of them. In order to spin the wheel, you will need to collect the type of anal bead that usually drops from one of the world bosses in that zone. A lot of those bosses need to be spawned in by a player completing a task, like killing the golems and turning on the lamps, or tossing a bomb you find at some moving sand in order to make the boss come up. But the first boss mob you will encounter will just respawn after a short while once it's killed. Now, as soon as you have that crystal, you will take it to the gamble wheel and spin it. Depending on where it lands, you will get a box either containing a shield piece, a weapon box for a class, or a piece of an outfit. If you decide to play this game, then I would suggest fighting the bosses, mainly because it's fun to test out your skills on them. The bosses are not very difficult and are easily soloable if you just dodge the attacks. But do not do what I did, and that's spend 2 hours killing the boss over and over because you want the chest that contains your class weapon, just to then realize a few hours later that you will never get your class weapon, because unless you are one of these classes, it will never drop. I don't know why it took me so long to figure it out. I even became a beggar because I ran out of the free keys they gave me to open the locked chest from the gamble wheel, and I needed the silver to buy more from the vendor.
Hey, you look rich.
Nah, not rich. Just been here since beta.
Can I get some money so I can buy keys for my gamba boxes? Need my weapon. It won't drop.
The story gives you everything you need.
But I want it.
And it worked, because he gave me 100 gold and this gem that makes me a god while leveling. And all I had to do was...
Oh, man. Alright, so what you want to do, my man?
Now, you don't need to use the wheel if you don't want to, because the quests you do will upgrade your gear as you level. So the shield and weapon you get from the wheel will end up getting replaced pretty soon after. Like most MMOs, a lot of the quests are go kill this, go get this, go talk to this person, then go back to the person you just talked to and turn it in. But in Blade and Soul, this typical and usually boring questing is made enjoyable because of the combat. They also did a good job by making sure to speed up the process. You're not killing 50 bandits just for one ear to drop. You tend to kill 1 or 2 things and the quest is complete. They do give you the kill X amount quest, but it's not the typical kill quest where they add on to the amount every time you turn it in, which helps with the leveling experience in my opinion. Because of that, the leveling doesn't feel as repetitive and mind-numbingly boring, and you tend to enjoy the quests that take a bit longer to complete, like the quest that shows you the reason why martial arts died. Now, there will be a lot of great NPCs in this game that you will run into. These NPCs really help make this game enjoyable. You will fall in love with a lot of the personalities, some larger than others. The only problem, if you can even call it that, with these NPCs is that they will kind of make you forget about anything that's bad with the game. So you really gotta focus. Not that kind of focus. Oh, and I can't forget about the cursing granny that caught me off guard.
Did you hear that? Was it the Zerexy?
I'm busy. Off. What the are you doing here? If I were 30 years younger, I would have kicked the out of those.
She's great. Now, you will run into some bad things about the game that you will notice while leveling. But like I said, you tend to forget them when you run into the NPCs with great personalities. One of the bigger negative things that you will run into is how often you get stuck on things just trying to get from point A to point B. Because this game is not an open world game, there are a lot of invisible walls. Another thing you will notice is the lack of fucks that are given when it comes to quality over time. Kind of like the character creator that looks worse than the 2016 version in my opinion. You will run into bad voice acting that was probably due to the lack of budget.
It's a rough wilderness out there, but your item's safety is my first priority. I've never lost an item.
Reloading! Reloading! Reloading!
As well as this poorly done cutscene that takes an awful amount of time to complete and is a huge waste of time to watch. It literally looks like they were forced to make a cutscene at gunpoint, so they whipped this one up in a few hours. Now, I would like to point out that the main story of this game takes place in a cave somewhere 90% of the time. When I say 90%, I mean 90%. I cut that down, by the way, by a lot. I will say that it probably took me a while to notice because everywhere you go, you tend to go into a loading screen. So it just blends in. Now, this does not matter at all in my opinion. I just thought it was interesting and wanted to share. Oh, and if you're into outfits and MMOs, then you may like this game because holy shit, does this game have a lot of outfits. Of course, some of the outfits are not obtainable anymore, and some are only obtainable with Endcoin in the cash shop, but a lot of these outfits are earnable by doing dungeons, raids, events, and even spinning the gamble wheel that I talked about. Unfortunately for me, the game died as soon as I hit level 60. The reason for that was because they gave you everything your character needs as soon as you do. They gave you a legendary weapon, a shield, all the gems and jewelry. I went from critting 10k to critting in the millions. Some of you may be asking, how is that a bad thing? Well, that's because the combat was no longer fun for me, because I was one-shotting everything, and I still had a lot of questing to do. The combat was the main thing that pretty much kept me going when it came to the questing. Well, that in the story, but it was mostly the combat. It's hard to test out the cool attacks and combos when everything dies in one sword swing. For example, one of the later quests has you go stealth to avoid some of the quote-unquote big boy mobs. But you actually don't need to care about them at all, because your character is so damn OP you can fuck them up faster than if you stealth past them. Hell, I had more fun at level 58 when I was farming the bosses in Front Scale Basin because I was able to enjoy the combat. Sure, I was still overgeared for the area, but I was able to use all my skills and combos to take out the bosses. I know some of you will find this weird, but it was genuinely how I felt. Now, I'm sure they give you all the gear you need so you're able to do the newest content. And with the population of Blade and Slow being on the low end, if they didn't give you the gear, then it probably would be difficult for you to gear yourself out. Now, I know some of you may enjoy the fact that you will be able to jump into the endgame quickly, but for me, that was not the case. Now, I can't speak much about the endgame, and whether or not it's good or bad, since I really did not do much of it at all. The only boss I killed was the Red Dragon, and that was it. Please! Since I didn't do pretty much any of the endgame content, I can't really give you my experience with the pay to win in the game. But having looked into it, it looks pretty bad. For starters, you can buy premium in the cash shop. Premium will cost you about $12 a month. This allows you to get a bunch of extra perks in game. A lot of MMOs have this type of thing now, like Lost Ark's version that's called Crystalline Aura. Some of the perks in Lost Ark's version mainly includes quality of life features, like having an extra 2 Bifrost ports and reducing your Song of Return cooldown by 50%. But it doesn't really include anything that makes your character stronger. The premium in Blade and Soul is very pay to win in my opinion. I mean, you literally get 30% more gold, XP, battle points, Zen Beans, and Celestial Peaches from combat, daily quest, and dynamic quest. So this alone probably already increases your gold earnings by a lot. Now, I have no idea what Zen Beans and Celestial Peaches are used for, but they sound important. You also spend less money with premium because you get 30% reduced fees when trying to evolve your weapon or have a breakthrough. And you get a 25% discount on the market fees as well as a 100% discount on the weapon glamour fees. You get an extra spin on the Monopoly board, and you also get extra daily login rewards like XP and materials for crafting. But that's not all. They also let you buy a daily premium cash in the cash shop for only 30 Endcoin. Wow. It's only 40 cents, guys. This daily premium box will give you a random item from this list, like gold or even gear upgrade materials. Now, that's just the premium membership benefits. They also have a battle pass. This battle pass contains up to 54,000 gold when fully completed. You even get gems that will give you an instant boost in power when added to your weapon, and a bunch of crafting materials for your gear. If you're finished with your battle pass and need some more mats, you can just open the Hung Moon store and buy some more boxes that contain upgrade materials. If you run out of gold, you can just exchange Endcoin for in-game gold with a currency exchange. If everything I just mentioned does not scream pay to win to you, nothing will.
FBI, open up!
So in conclusion, would I recommend this game? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't go around recommending people to play this game. But if someone asked me, hey, I'm thinking about playing Blade and Soul. I'm sorry, Blade and Slow. I have never played it before, should I try it out? I would say this, go for it. But only if you play it like a single player game. Meaning you enjoy the combat, questing, and story. Because I can guarantee you will enjoy at least those 3 things. And you will have a fun time for at least a week or 2. But I can't guarantee your experience will be good when it comes to the end game activities. Because based on how pay to win this game is, unless you have a lot of money to spend, your end game experience will probably not be so great. Now this video has taken way longer than I wanted it to. This is my first time making something like this and will continue to do so for other upcoming MMOs. So if you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and maybe hit that subscribe button. It will really help me out. Thanks for watching. Till next time.